ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
What up? I tell you, I got to talk to my boy. I like that little music there. He could have let that rock on for a minute, but what up? What's going on, Savannah? This is me, Julius Campbell, Ink to Ink, Incarceration to Incorporation. It is another Friday, and we welcome you back to the show. We've been missing you this week, but we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Why are we here? First of all, I just want to say, because we got some new listeners, we are here because we are changing the narrative. What do I mean when I say changing the narrative? So many people believe that when an individual, returning citizen that is, gets out of prison, that we are bound to automatically go back. And that's not the case. There are a lot of successful men and women who have went to prison and have stayed out. They are either successful relationally, educationally, organizationally, or occupationally, but they are successful. And what we want to do is we want to put out as many successful stories as we can to change that narrative. But we also provide a platform, a safe space for returning citizens, not only for returning citizens, but also for relatives of returning citizens, because we wasn't the only one to ride that bus, if you will, but also those who have resources for returning citizens. We have this platform for them as well, because if you hear a story, it will encourage you. It will empower you. Why? Because if you believe that they made it, then you know that you can make it also. And so that's why we are here every Friday on Ink to Ink, so that we can encourage you, so that we can educate you, and so that we can empower you. And tonight we have what I want to call resources. Tonight we're going to share and we're going to hear a story from Mediation Center, our partner, Keyshawn. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself and also what he does. So I just again want to say thank you. At this moment, before we start, would you hit that share button? Let somebody know that there is a podcast, a safe space for returning citizens to share their story. So hit that share button so that not only will you be encouraged, but also others listening will be encouraged as well. What up? I ain't seen you. I'm sorry. What's up, AB? My partner, who's the brainchild of this idea, Incarceration to Incorporation. What up, Julius Hall? Always thanking him for this platform, ATR Media. And what's up, Marie Jones, our co-host as well. They're not here with us tonight, but we do have somebody that we know going to encourage you. So how you doing, Keyshawn?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. If you will, just introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about, again, who you are and what is your relationship to incarceration.
My name is Keyshawn Housey, and I'm the current Youth Programs Associate for the Mediation Center of the Coastal Empire. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that focuses on resolving conflict through conversation, founded in 1986. My personal relationship to incarceration, me personally, I've never been incarcerated. And I'm going to try and keep that going for as long as we can. Nonetheless, my dad, my biological father, he was incarcerated in prison for a number of years, to the point where I'm not too knowledgeable on the specifics. However, he was out of my life for a significant portion. I didn't meet him. I didn't know I didn't know my dad existed for real until I was like 10 or 11. And since then, I'm 24 now. We talk now. We're building that relationship. We're building that relationship. I am born and raised here in Savannah, Georgia. For those who went to Salt C. Johnson High School, that's the home team right there. And I'm also went to Georgia Southern University, history in Statesboro with a history degree and a minor in Africana studies. And I am the youth programs associate for the Mediation Center, and so I work in the field of youth programs, and I'm very excited to speak on the number of programs we have for not just youth, but for the community at large.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to moderate you, but let me give a shout out. I see you, Linda McGriff. Good evening to you as well. I see you, Tisha Fulton, all the way from Las Vegas. I'm going to do better, best friend. I'm going to do better. I see you also. Shireen Anderson is watching as well. And what I want you to do is tell me a little bit more about the Mediation Center. Exactly what is it that you do?
Okay, so again, the Mediation Center, nonprofit organization focusing on resolving conflict, number one, through conversation. And so for those who are not certain about what mediation is essentially it's facilitated discussion with the goal of resolving conflict. So I'm trained actually to be a mediator in the sense that I would be a third party neutral with the state of Georgia in order to resolve certain conflicts in the community. But me specifically right now, I focus on youth. So the kids, our students in the school system, and again, in the community. And we have a number of programs we offer. Number one, we go into the school systems, and we go into the school system, Savannah County, and we train your students, should they be selected, to become peer mediators, which gives them the various conflict resolution and navigation tools in order to resolve conflicts and be that mediator in the classroom to stop, to minimize the fighting that goes on in our schools today. That's actually how I found out about the Mediation Center when I was in high school, because they came and trained me and some of my classmates with that program. They're still doing it today, and I'm very happy to be able to facilitate some of that. It's done every single year. We try to go to as many schools as possible. We cover nearly all the high schools, middle schools in our area, elementary schools even in our area. Not only that, but again, it gives them the opportunity to have those leadership skills that they are able to keep with them forever. Those traits that it sticks with them forever.
So let me ask you this. So I hear you saying that you have this program in the schools, but what about those parents that need assistance? Is the Mediation Center simply an entity that goes into an educated school, or do you give your attention to communities, neighborhoods, churches, or homes?
We do that through a number of avenues. Number one, and this is a class we're getting ready to offer in the next few weeks, that's our community mediation training. We are having an open call for community mediators, those individuals in the community who have the abilities or who want the abilities to resolve conflict in their neighborhoods, to help minimize the police presence in our neighborhoods, right? I'm just going to be real. I'm going to keep it real. That is the purpose of our program. And so we're offering the training as a 2-week training for June 10th and 11th, and then the week after, the 15th and the 16th. And you will be trained in those mediation skills, and you'll be equipped to resolve conflict in your neighborhoods again. Okay? Not only that, but we have our work in family law. And so for those who are going through various custodial battles, with your spouse, we have classes that aid in high conflict parenting. We have classes that help with the legitimation process. So for those who are trying to gain custody of the child, we offer legitimation courses. We also offer other just mediating style courses for parents, really. to aid in their conflict so that they're able to continue raising the child.
Okay, let me ask you this then, because I'm going to take you down the road and I'm gonna bring you back. I want to get to know all things mediation, if you will. So now tell us, because there are a lot of people that never even heard of the word mediation. I myself just recently, within the last, I guess I would say 6 months, heard about mediation, and I've also learned that it is a lucrative employment. So can you tell us a little bit about the financial aspect of mediation? Is this something that's new on the scene? And if it is there a lot of people that's gravitating towards this? Is it a lucrative employment or job?
Now, yes, no, I don't want to say that. So we work adjacent with a lot of different fields in our society, including law. For example, our mediation center, we have contracts through the court systems in which we're able to mediate cases in the juvenile, domestic, and civil courts, right? However, our mediation center, again, we're not for profit. We focus on, we're for the community. We try to be a community resource. So a lot of our services, if they do have a fee, they're greatly reduced versus what you would commonly see with other mediators, private mediators, other just mediation groups throughout the country. Okay. A lot of our work is done through community volunteers. We have a number of volunteers throughout the country, who we're able to call up and they're able to mediate various cases in our in our system here.
Okay, gotcha. That helps. And I see you, Mr. Ellis. I'm gonna move to that in just a minute. Mr. Ellis is ready to talk about gun and gang violence, and I'm fit to get to that. But I want to lay the foundation for what mediation is, so that we will understand how mediation works. And so I want to ask you now, Keyshawn, if you would give us a layman's definition of a mediator.
Mediator, someone who's a third party neutral, someone who is there to really facilitate discussion.
Someone who's there to willingly facilitate a discussion. Now, do you see, and I asked that question for a reason, because I've seen the mediation technique work, because they are an objective party, as you just stated. And so that's why we named tonight Conversation or Conflict, or Conversation versus Conflict, because we've learned, both you and I, that mediating tends to avoid or hinder the conflict, right? Do you see the mediation technique working in our communities and neighborhoods?
I see it on a daily basis. So I want to speak on one of our other programs very quickly, restorative conferencing. Okay. And that's a youth program we have in which all of the parties involved in the conflict. So let's just say, let's go back in time for a little bit. Let's say we were back in school, right? Let's say we were back in school. Let's say we got in a fight. Right now, you know how back in the day where they would suspend us, right? They just OSS, out of school forever. Well, now there's a virtual diversion program, whereas before you get suspended, you'll be put in that program. It wouldn't be on your record as a suspension. However, you will be taken out of the school system for a little bit. You'll be placed in virtual learning. Then before you come back to school, it's believed that once the fight happens, that's it. That's not necessarily the case. Before you go back to school in that environment in which the fight started, you come back, you bring everyone who was involved, the children, the parents, any of the community members, and y'all sit everyone down in that conversation, in that circle. Everyone gets to speak on the situation. Everyone gets to speak on how it affected them, how it made them felt. And then they come together, they build the resolution themselves. They build it themselves. And you're more likely to stick with something that you built yourself. It's your own baby, right? And so that's what we offer with our youth in the school system, in the juvenile system, in the juvenile court system as well. And we have seen great results. A Of course, I can't speak on it because they're all confidential. That's another big thing. A lot of our mediations are confidential. You literally everyone in that space, that what stays in that space, what's spoken about in that space, stays in that space, and it does not get out. Okay,
and that's called
another big thing.
Called community conferencing.
No, that's restorative conferencing and community conferencing as well. Yes, we can. The restorative conferencing piece can be utilized community wide.
Community wide, gotcha.
It can be utilized community wide of any age group.
Now I want you to speak to that because we're moving to the juvenile. Okay, remember this is ink to ink, and then we want to make sure that what we're saying is relevant to our returning citizens, be it adults or juveniles, because we spoke on this show on numerous of occasions about the school to prison pipeline and helping to reduce that. And I know that the Mediation Center is a part of helping to reduce, if you will, or hinder that school to prison pipeline. And so now I want to ask you about the juveniles. How did you get involved in that work? Because there are a lot of young people right now that is in desperate need of mentoring and mediation. So how did the Mediation Center begin to work with the juvenile system?
You know, honestly, I there was an obvious need in the community that, you know, we could offer these services to the youth, and we could offer these services to those in the juvenile court system, to those who society has already said, okay, you know what, you've done bad, we're going to punish you for life. This is another way out. Let me tell you something. When we have our juvenile court mediations, it is literally, when the opportunity arises, it is that stopgap. Y'all have that mediation. Y'all speak about the issues. Y'all come up with the solutions, and it doesn't have to go before a judge. If it's done right, you don't have to go before a judge, and the judge usually has the say, so has the power in deciding the fate, in deciding your fate, in deciding the child's fate with the mediation. It moves that power away from the judge to the people again, to the kids.
I like that. I like that.
How did we get started? I just started at the center just a few months ago. I can't give you all of that information. Because I just don't know. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know.
Okay.
But that is the work. That is what our work involves right now with the court system. We go through the process of pre-work. Before we even have the conference, we as the mediators, we have to do some background work. We literally call up everyone who is involved in the situation. We ask for their side of the story. And then we bring them all together and we have them retell the story so that everyone can hear it. And everyone hears and everyone listens.
Gotcha. All right. So you reached out to me and we talked a couple of weeks ago about possibly working together. Those who are returning citizens, tell me, what is it that you want from that community? Those who have been down that road with shared experiences. How can there be a collaboration, if you will, between those of us that have been incarcerated and the Mediation Center?
People have the belief that once you're in that system, you know, that's it, you ruined your entire life. In some instances that I've personally seen, it's literally like it is a pause, somewhat of a saving grace. And after your time, you can come and you can involve yourself with the community, with the perspective of being in that situation, so you can tell the next generation coming up that they don't have to go down that road. They can choose a new path. They can choose a different path. And with our work, we need volunteers. We need volunteers. And so a lot of our volunteer opportunities, they involve working with the kids, you know, being, you know, direct with them. And you're giving them, you're learning yourself, because you always learn for the kids, but you're giving them those tools those tools, those resources to be mediators, to help resolve conflict, not with just others, but even within themselves.
Right.
And I can literally go all day about the many opportunities that we have. Again, you can become mediators yourselves. You can become community mediators. You can potentially even become civil or domestic mediators with the court system. And with your perspective, you're just there to facilitate discussion. You are able to give your perspective, to give the other people, to those disputants, you can give them something to think about. You can have them see things in a different light, and you can help bring about resolutions. You can help bring about positive change in that way. It's just a conversation.
I love that. And I'm glad that you are reaching out to returning citizens. For those who are just coming in, a returning citizen is someone who has been incarcerated and now they're returning back to society, whether they were incarcerated 20 years ago or 20 days ago. And one thing that Mr. Keyshawn has just stated is that we have a lived experience. And so if we have a lived experience, we can relate. And not only do we relate, but we are also relevant. Now, one thing I would like to say, because I can use myself as an example. I did 26 years in the Georgia prison system. And while I was there, I was progressively preparing myself to be who I am and what I am today. And that is a minister, a mentor, and a motivational speaker. I want to speak primarily to the mentoring piece because my job title is Life Navigator. I literally now help young men navigate throughout the difficulties of life. And I was hired to do that because of my lived experience, because of my past, if you will. And that's just a blessing that blows your mind anyway, because in the society that we live in today, many returning citizens are being rejected employment because of their past. But I was granted employment because of one reason, because of my past. And I'm so grateful. And so now I use that to be able to do what Keyshawn is talking about. So I too want to encourage you, returning citizen. And Keyshawn, I want you to speak directly to them in a moment. But first, I want to encourage our returning citizens that listen, you too can use your experience to be a help to someone. You too can use your experience to let people know that your lived experience can be an encourager and an educator to others. So I need you to know right now, returning citizen, you can do it. Keyshawn, you also speak to them right now. Just look in the camera and tell them what you're looking for.
You know what? We're looking for people who care. I want to use stronger language because I feel like that would convey what the feelings that I have inside for how much y'all actually matter to this. Mm-hmm. Y'all are in the position in this stage of the game, in this life, and y'all see the way society is right now. Let's just I'm taking my mediation center cap off for a hot second. The world as we know it needs a dire restructuring. The way we are going about things right now in every single aspect of our society is not it, and it needs to change. It needs to be reimagined. And through this work, you can be a part of that. You can be a part of that. So in a way where you don't have to be stigmatized for the rest of your life because of a decision you made many years ago, when you didn't know wiser. Now you know wiser, and you can help lead the next generation to greatness. You can lead our future to greatness. Still, that has not been extinguished for you. The day that would have been extinguished is the day you die. And as long as you're still kicking and doing the doggone thing, you can be a credit to. You can help us learn. You can help us be better people, be better humans.
I love that. You spoke from your heart, brother. And I want to ask a question. I know you are working with the courts in juvenile right now. Do you see the mediation center working in the prison system?
I don't see why not. If there is a great demand for it, then we will certainly help. We could certainly help. I see no problem with it.
Okay. So where are you located?
We are located right here in Savannah, Georgia, at 5105 Paulson Street in the Executive Court Building. 120 Suite 125D. It's on the bottom floor, kind of depending on where you come in. You can't miss it. It has the mediation sign on the front of it. But that is our office. We are opening up a satellite location of sorts in Liberty County. I don't have the specifics on that, but I know it's in the works. So for those in Liberty County. But we're the Mediation Center of the Coastal Empire. So we service the Coastal Empire, Chatham County, Effingham County, Liberty County. I think the Coastal Empire. So what is considered the Coastal Empire, we service those communities as well. And again, we have connections. We work with other mediation centers across the nation, across Georgia, and we do a lot of collaboration. This is a nationwide effort. This is a nationwide movement.
A nationwide movement. I love that. So let me ask you, how do they get in touch with you? Because you say y'all are getting ready to start a mediation class for peer mentoring. Is that what you said?
For community mediation. So those who wants to learn the skills to become mediators, to help mediate conflict in the community, come to our next training sessions. It is going to be at the Pennsylvania Avenue Resource Center, June 10th and 11th, and then June 16th and 17th. So that's the Friday and Saturday. It's a 2-week class, both of those weekends. And it is from 9 to 4. And you will learn all the skills to become community mediators. But we are always looking for volunteers to be a volunteer with the Mediation Center. You can contact me at 912-999-2110. I'm going to say it again, 912-999-2110. You can contact me via email, Housey, Housey at Mediation Savannah. Mediation Savannah, MEDIATION, Savannah, SAVANNAH.com.
Thank you,
Housey at mediationsavannah.com. I might have
now,
butchered
Mr. Ellis is on, and Mr. Ellis is asking me a question about these guns. So I'm going to broach that because for a moment, because this particular segment is not about guns. It's more so about the conversation. And because again, conversation or conflict, we want to start with the conversation before we get to the conflict. Now, when the conflict happens, then we got to know how to deal with it. But if we can start with conversation, then I believe that we will head off the conflict. But his question is, where are all these guns coming from? Everyone has a gun these days, and no one is afraid to use them. I guess what I'm going to ask you, because what I like to do is I like to acknowledge our listeners. Do you see how the Mediation Center can play a role in hindering or stopping or preventing gun and gang violence?
We're trying to work on it now. We're having a number of community conversations. We're having a number of community conversations, especially involving our youth. It's a series we have launched, literally called Youth Community Conversations, and we've been inviting high school students, and then city leaders, community leaders, to listen to these students. Because I remember in high school, for example, that's when I first started having my interest in politics. And me and my classmates, we would have these discussions in class. And remember, you know how CNN always has like a poll, and CNN polls this many people voted for this once this thing in action. We said to ourselves, why they never ask us? Now, mind you, we're like 16, 17, 15. We're in the next couple of years, we're the next voting generation, right? We're the next big voting block. Why they never ask us about the issues that affect our community? And so that's what we're here to do now. We've hosted conversations on what it is to be a global citizen. We're getting ready to launch a conversation on homelessness in Savannah. That's going to be on June 16th at 5 o'clock via Zoom. You can register at the Mediation Center website. Again, and we're going to launch another youth community conversation regarding education here in Savannah. Again, inviting those school officials, city leaders, students, really. We want the students. We want to hear your voice. And, what do y'all think of the state of the world? What do y'all think of Savannah? And what can be done to improve it? And that's why we want those city leaders there. Because they always say that the youth is the future. If the youth is the future and these are their concerns, listen to them, put them into action, put them into policy, and you can have these people remain in Savannah in a city and an environment they want to live in, they want to thrive in. And over time, that's the type of action, that's the type of work that will help lessen the violence on the streets.
Good luck with that. I know that there are multiple people trying to do what you're trying to do. I think, wasn't it not long ago they took a group of kids to the Capitol to speak, and I believe they wouldn't allow the children to speak. I think I don't know what's going on, but I love that idea. I love the idea. If the children are our future, then their voices should be heard. Love that idea. And whatever we can do here at Ink to Ink to help you with that platform, by all means, please let us know. We will definitely do that for you. I just want to ask you another question, because we are returning citizens, OAA. I have a nonprofit, myself and Marie Jones, along with a few other of us. We have an organization called OAA Savannah, Offender Alumni Association. And what we do is we are a group of returning citizens, an alumni, if you will, and we provide a safe space for men and women to share their stories. We also help men and women look for employment and as many other areas as we can. We want to make sure that their transition back into society is a smooth transition. So what we do at OAA is we provide that space, and I hope that you would allow us to be a part of your mediation program whenever you need one of us to come and share our experience. We offer that assistance to you anytime you need us, because we say this often. We might have started out wrong, but look at where we are now. We are finishing strong. Every one of us, we have a powerful, positive story, and we want to give it to you when you are needing it.
And thank you. Mm-hmm. No, thank you. No, we appreciate that, because it is true. Everything you just said out your mouth is true, and we are happy. We are happy to take all the help. Thank you. We appreciate that.
No problem. So listen, as we get ready to turn the corner, I want you to speak to my audience one last time. When I say audience, there are three types of audiences. Number one, you have those that are still incarcerated, especially in Jessup. There is a radio station that goes into the jail and prison. But we also have another audience. We have those returning citizens who have come home, and that now they are thriving, surviving, and they are positive and productive. But you have a third audience as well, and that's the community like yourself that has never been incarcerated, but they are quote unquote ignorant to that world. And now we want to try to educate them on that world, but also to help them to be receptive of the citizens that are returning. So, if you would you speak a word of encouragement to whichever audience you desire, or all three? Speak a word of encouragement, but also one last time a word of education or edification to let them know that there is a place where they can assist you.
We here at the Mediation Center, we are here for the community. It's literally in the title. It's a community mediation center, and we are here to solve conflict. Any issues that you have with other people, especially in the workplace, in the community, please come to us, and we can help resolve it. Even when you think you can't talk no more, we can help you continue that conversation. I want to say this specifically to the audience who are listening now, who are going to listen to this, who are incarcerated, because I think it needs to be said. Not a lot of people realize it, but of course, the 13th Amendment mentioned that, slavery is illegal here in the United States, with the exception of being incarcerated in that system. You are not a slave. You are human. You are human. You never stop being human, no matter what society, no matter what group of people want to say you're not. You're still human. You have feelings. You have emotions, a wide variety of them. Maintain your humanity. And that part's for everyone. Maintain your humanity. You're human first, right? Now I want to say this to those who have never been incarcerated, and for those who are free, free and out of the system, formerly incarcerated. We need more people who care in the world. So if you care about stopping the violence here in Savannah or wherever you are listening from, if you are a person who wants to encourage more discussion, more civil discussion instead of fighting or gun violence, I highly encourage you all to look at us and volunteer with us, because a lot of the work we do, people don't realize about the Mediation Center. We're actually a very small staff. I think it's not even, we don't even have 20 people, full-time staff on our, in the organization. A lot of the work is done with volunteers. Like, we literally could not do the work we do in the community if it wasn't for our volunteers. And we treat our volunteers very nice. We treat them with respect. There are so many opportunities that come with that, so many benefits that come with that, in so many ways, for not just yourself, but for those you end up helping. Just for them to see your face, it means the world to them, and it means the world to us. So I highly encourage y'all to volunteer with us. And for more information on that, I'm the guy. Keyshawn Housey, Youth Programs Associate. My phone number is 912-999-2110, and my email, khousey, KHOUSEY, at mediationsavannah.com.
Thanks, Keyshawn. I'm so grateful for people like you and organizations like the Mediation Center, because you meet us with a hand saying, help. Just like we have a listener on right now. Let's make sure I say that correctly. Sharon Grandma Hands Sadler. She says, I hear your heart. And yeah, I hear your heart. And I just want you to know that I hear it as well. Thank you for that opportunity to be a part of something that changes the narrative. A returning citizen coming home, helping his community to heal. Conversations versus conflicts. That's what we love. And we appreciate you giving us that opportunity. And to our listeners, as always, thank you for coming on and joining us. You know, I love to say this. I'm going to keep saying it so that it will register in your minds, just like when I heard it, it registered in mine. We, returning citizens, may have started out wrong, but look at us now. We are finishing strong. We are doing well. We are successful in our own rights, and we want to change the narrative. Would you help us? Will you help us to change that narrative? We need an opportunity, whether it's employment, whether it's encouragement, motivation. We need an opportunity. Help. And I also want to encourage the community right now. If you have a loved one that's incarcerated, find out what's going on with him or her. There are things going on behind those bars that we are not privy to. And there needs to be someone checking on their loved one. For a country that has over 2 million people incarcerated, that means that you may have a nephew, a niece, a brother, a sister, God forbid, a mother or a father behind bars. Find out how they're doing. Check in on your loved one. Prison reform is greatly needed. But if you don't know what's going on with your loved one, it starts at home first. So I encourage you, find out what's going on with your loved one. Look at returning citizens differently than the media has led on to. We are changing the narrative. I encourage you, look in on your loved ones. We'll meet you here again next week. Same time, Friday at 8 to 8. Remember, a debt that is paid is no longer a debt. Returning citizen, you can do it. We encourage you. Continue to live and be brave and courageous. Thank you, Keyshawn. Appreciate you. We're going to holler at you again. To the rest of you, we see you next Friday. Peace out.
Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe.